we live in a time where we are disconnected and we are disoriented as well. You know, we are afflicted with so many trials, with so many um, fitna, you know, in the whole world, with so many distractions that we, you know, we lose the focus of what is important. We lose this focus of what the purpose of us as Muslims is in this world, you know, and it is something that we need to pay attention to. That it is quite simple, but at the same time, because of the simplicity, it's something that we live with every day of our lives. That, but because of we're running after the dunya, you know, we in the process forget, you know, to forget to pay attention to these five things that the Prophet ﷺ said we should pay attention to before another five, you know, categories of things come or befall us, basically. So this is based on a hadith that was narrated by Ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhu. And we all know Ibn Abbas was one of the, you know, one of the most revered Sahaba, quite a young man. And even as young as he is back then, he was someone that, you know, was very, very trusted when it comes to the narration of hadith, and somebody that even the adults in the community will go to for the knowledge that you know, Allah bestowed upon him, and that's based on the dua that the Prophet made upon him. So you know, this hadith, the Prophet mentioned five things that we should pay attention to, and I will take it one by one with the hope that inshallah we'll digest it a little bit and you know, take, you know, like I said, every single one of us fall into one, at least one of these categories, and you know, with inshallah that we'll be able to take at least one thing or two benefit from that, and hopefully try to you know, better our life going forward. So um the Prophet ﷺ said that we should take care of our youth before our old age. And this is probably in our life the most, you know, difficult stage of anybody's life, the most you know, trying stage, the stage that shaitan tends to have even much more power on us. Because as a youth, you want to be belong to certain group of people, you want to enjoy the world as well as attain the Jannah. You know, we are young and do different kind of things and forget who we are as a person. You know, it is a time that, you know, we are, because we are young, we have the ability, the strength, everything to do what we want. You know, we are not thinking about Jannah at that time. Many of us are not thinking about, you know, the hereafter. We're thinking of this year. We're thinking of, I want this job, I want that car, I want this you know, you know, I'm not ready to settle down because that would just be a baggage and so on. But you know, the Prophet also said, take care of this. And the reason why, there's another hadith, the Prophet himself mentioned that on the day of Qiyamah, you know, on the day of judgment, there are several categories of people. I'm not going to mention all of them. I'm only going to focus on the specific of this. There are several categories of people that will be shaded from the you know, from the heat of the sun. As we may have heard many times, that on that day Allah will bring down the sun, you know, like the sun as we see it is not even in this atmosphere, it's right outside of the atmosphere that we live in. The sun will be lower to the point that it will be burning, like, you know, as we see during the hot summer day, or if you go to a sunny country, you will feel sometimes when it's hot, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, you can feel the sun burning your skin, you know. But on that day, the sun will be lower to the point that we're literally next to it, and it's to the point of boiling, you know, boiling temperature. So on that day, there are several categories of people that will be shaded from this. And one of them, the Prophet said, is a youth that dedicated his or her life to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why he's saying to us that we should take care of our youth. Youth is a time that once it's gone, it's gone. Once you lose that, you can never go back to it. You know, you can never go back to that. You can never try to change it, you know, what you've lost. And youth is a time that, you know, many of my colleagues or many of my mates that were busy trying to chase after the dunya. We are busy trying to chase after things that are not important, and we lose the focus. We are busy making excuses. We are busy saying, oh, well, I didn't see my parents do this and that, so I didn't know. No, We don't have an excuse. Our parents have done what they can to the best of what was available then. In this day and age that we live in an age of technology, the resources are there. Don't waste your time on things that is not even useful. Dedicate your time to the worship of Allah. This is the time that we should have, because by the time you get married, you have children, you're gonna be preoccupied with so many things. And this is the time to, the little that you can, if it is you want to learn the Quran, how to recite the Quran, you want to learn the Arabic language, or you want to learn the Islamic science, this is the time, the youth is when we can, do it. And many of our youth will say, oh, well, I want to be better than my parents. I want to search for that money. I want to search for wealth so that in my 50s, 60s, I can settle down. But what we don't think is that every time when you're making dua, Allah, give me this, give me this, give me that. We don't think about what He has already given us. All we think about is what He's not given us. We should never think about what we don't have. If we don't have it, then Allah does not want to give it to you, because if He gives it to you, you will totally, your heart will be closed off to this mercy of Allah. You will be so busy, you won't have time for your family. So don't think about what you don't have. Think about what He has given you. Like, earlier today we've done Fidal. There are people that were looking forward to the next year, 2022, and they are here no more. And yet you're chasing after this. Some of us, we're thinking about how we're gonna get that double pay, triple pay during the bank holiday, where we could spend more time with our family, when we could spend time on focusing on Islam. That course that you left, pick you up again this holiday time. That class that that you were attending before, and then suddenly you just dropped over that book that you wanted to read again. This is the time. The youth is a very delicate stage that if care is not taken, and for example, we go to university. Many of us have been to university. Some of us are currently studying at university. Again, that's part of your youth. And many people go to university. They either make it. When I say make it, I'm not talking about your academic achievement. They either make it or they lose it. That is where some people find Islam, because they go away from their parents, because many, let's be honest here. Many youths that we see today are practicing based on what their parents are trying to get them to do. When they live independently, that Islam is not there, because they never understood what they were doing. It was just based on what their parents are telling them. And university is one of the environment that you will find yourself, or you will lose yourself totally. So that's one of the things that I said, that we should take care of our youth. Many of our parents today will say, oh, if only I could go back. If only, I remember when I was in my 20s. I remember when I was in my 30s. If only I could have done that. That year that you were not working. That year that, many people lost their job during this COVID when it first started. During that lockdown, that you were sitting down just wasting your time on TV, on idle talk, on backbiting. You could have spent that few months, you could have spent on that, and achieve something spiritually. But no, instead we were wallowing our time in things that would not benefit us in this dunya, let alone in the hereafter. So the next category of things that the Prophet said that we should take care of is, again, our health. Take care of our health before sickness. And this is also quite, in this day and age, is very important. I mean, look, you don't even have to go far to know that right now, health, if you have your health, if you're healthy, you're one of the most favorable people to Allah. You're one of the most favored. You're one of the lucky ones, because many people have died through COVID. Some people have died through other many, but the main focus for the past a year and a half or so now has been COVID. And you have people, and which is quite something that we present even within our Nigerian community, like, carrying falsehood, carrying message that some people don't even read what messages. They just say, well, forward, forward, forward. Some people are going anti-vaxxer, don't take the vaccine. Some people have been saying, oh, the vaccine is a Bill Gates chip that they want to use to control the African community and so on. I mean, we're all literate, and a literate person shouldn't even be saying that. Be saying such a nonsense, saying it's a chip. They're using it to control us and that. So right now, I'm not saying that the vaccine is an absolute medication. What we need to understand and have faith in is that, yes, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, healing is with Allah, but it is also Islam that teaches us. The Prophet used medicines, maybe not as we know it today, but in during the time of the Sahaba and him as well, they had medicines, they had things that they used. You know, you have black seed, for example. The dates as well has its benefits as well within our body. That is a kind of healing. What we shouldn't do is that we should solely believe that if we don't see a doctor or if we don't use a medication, that we will not be healed. But we are, it is permissible and it is an obligation upon us Muslims to do the necessary to protect ourselves and protect our neighbors. That's why the Prophet obviously said that during a plague, if you are within the country or within the area that it happened, don't go outside. Do not leave. You should stay there. And if you're outside of that environment, do not go in there, which is the same thing. You know, the scientists have been telling us that, you know, many countries are blocking traveling and so on. And this is something that was said many centuries ago. So again, taking care of our health, we have a responsibility on ourselves to take care of ourselves, but know that behind that, it is the healing. It is up to Allah to allow the medication to work or not to work. It's up to Allah that diagnosis will be a positive one or a negative one. You know, we should take care of our health. For example, Allah says so that when you're going to Hajj, it's not just about money. You have to have your physical fitness. You have to be fit. Why? Because you need your strength to be able to do certain rites in Hajj. So again, it requires your health. And again, when we're healthy, we're able to do ibadah, we're able to pray. There are people, moments, not Muslims, there are moments, you know, and the difference between a Muslim and a Muslim is somebody that, yeah, praying, whatever, accepts Islam and that. But a Muslim is somebody that not only does he obey Allah, not only does he or she follow the commandments of Allah, but this is somebody that if today, you know, if today there was a new revelation, astaghfirullah, there won't be any other revelation. But if there was a revelation today, these are the people. A moment is somebody that, you know, they will not question it. Okay, this is what we were following before. Oh, this is the new evidence. Okay, that's it. That's a moment, and that's the level. You don't have to be an Arab. You know, Allah has given us the capabilities and the resources to be anybody we want to be. The only thing you cannot be is a prophet. Yes, we all have our destiny, but destiny does not just come across by itself. You have to do the work. You can't just be making dua without praying, and you cannot be making a prayer without, you cannot be working without prayer either. So again, you know, if these are the believers at the moment that they've gotten to the level that if they feel sick, if something is happening, they would be beating themselves up. But oh, yeah, Allah, take this away from me because I'm not able to pray in my full capacity. I'm not able to observe my, nafila. I'm not able to observe my fasting, my voluntary fasting. I'm not able to go out there and do dawah. But many of us are even happy doing Ramadan. Come on, I'm sick. The scholars have said that if you're sick, don't fast. Where you should be crying that this is a month that is a month of mercy, that you should have the strength to be able to observe every single one of it. So again, taking care of our health is very important. And the Prophet has said in an hadith that whoever so that when he wakes up in the morning, yeah, is feeling family security and feeling healthy, then that person definitely it will be as if as he possesses the word. He possesses the whole word. Do you know what it means to say the power of the whole word, is within the palms of your hand? Do you know what it means? That you're able, like you have the authority. You can command anything you want, and that's what the Prophet started describing, like that whoever goes out feeling security, that oh, I'm happy, I'm confident, I'm satisfied, my family are okay, I've lived in the hands of Allah, and you're feeling healthy, that person possesses the whole world. So my brothers and sisters, let's take care of our health, and let's make, because by the time sickness comes over, either terminally ill or just a short-term sickness, then you may not, that thing that you've been delaying, that thing that you've been procrastinating about, you may not have the chance to do it anymore. But that stage, that period is gone, and you will never get it back. The next category, the Prophet has said that we should take care of our wealth before poverty. And this is another fitna that Allah has bestowed on many people in this dunya. I said earlier that what youths are doing today, we're running, oh, I want to buy a house. I have to get my mortgage done. I have to get this car. I have to get my wealth to the point that I can, I can be comfortable in my 50s. So I don't have to work for anyone, or I have to set up my own business. But we forget that this wealth we are talking about is by the doing of Allah. Allah, if He wills, He can take away from you. That running every money you're running, He can say, you know what, I'll, there will be no more job for you. There'll be no money. So sit down at home. What are you then going to do? So it says to take care of our wealth before poverty, because with money you can do dawah. With money you can do charity. With money you can seek knowledge. And let me tell you, no matter the amount of money or time you spend, it can never amount to the knowledge that you will benefit from that. Never ever think, money. Many of us, we go on holidays that will not benefit us in any way or in any shape or form. We spend thousands on a week luxurious holiday abroad that will not benefit. In fact, what we're gonna even end up committing sin. Your eyes will see that which you should not see. Your ears will hear that which you should not eat. Your mouth will eat haram that you shouldn't be eating. But putting that money towards a course in Islamic science, towards something that even if you donate it to a masjid, even if you donate it to students that are studying that, to complete their Hebrew of Quran, that would be written down for you for eternity. I will even continue to benefit you after you're gone. So our wealth is not ours. It is for the community. It is for the Muslim Ummah. It is for our other brothers and sisters from other religions as well. Obviously, we're meant to. It is sunnah. It is better to prioritize our Muslim brothers and sisters over. But there is no charity generally doing charity. As long as there is no attachment that will lead to haram to it, then it's fine. So our money is not just for yourself or just for your family. You're meant to spend money and spend it before poverty comes. Because many of us here, we would have had different jobs at one point in our life. We would have, I don't know, some of us are students at one point in time. Now we're professionals. Some of us are currently students. Some of us are working in a job that we don't like it, but we're doing it because so that we can survive. But in the future, that circumstance will change again. Some people, they've been CEOs, directors at some point in their life. Some people at the age of 20-something, they were the director of a company. By the age of 30, they were begging, they were relying on family members, they were relying on the government to feed them. So, if you spend your wealth lavishly, into haram stuff that does not benefit, then you'll be asked upon that. And the Prophet said that wealth, wealth is not in having many possessions. Like our parents, sometimes they say, to your money, you build in Nigeria, you have house in Ibadan, in Lagos, in Abuja. Some of us even have a house here. Some of us are building assets, financial assets. But you forget that as time passes, so is the technology, or so is the kind of luxuries that appeases to people. The kind of things that our parents take that take as luxury, we don't take it as luxury because we feel that's archaic, that's obsolete. There are things that have come to take over that, and that's how life will continue to go. That you can never, yes, I'm not saying that we should not to make it easy for our children going forward, but it will be better for you to build a legacy in knowledge seeking, to build them up as an alim, a scholar, to raise them up as a knowledgeable person, send them to a madrasa, build up them, than to be saying you want to leave them assets or financial, either be it material assets or financial assets, So again, that the Prophet, as I said, that wealth is not in having many possessions, but true wealth is the wealth of the rich soul. Somebody's soul, your soul is rich. When we say soul is rich, is somebody that when you commit a sin, your heart is not at peace. Your heart, you're feeling guilty. You cannot sit, you cannot stand, you cannot close your eye, you cannot open it. You're feeling guilty that until you do istighfar, you cannot be like, even when you do istighfar, you still have doubt. Yes, Allah has said to us in the Quran that do not despair of His mercy. Do not despair. Allah forgives whom he wills, and for the door of forgiveness does not close until you die. But nonetheless, the moment the true believer are those that even after okay, the Prophet Islam, there was a time it would do nafila to the point that his feet was if it was swollen. And Aisha was asking him, why are you going through such a trouble, so much wahala? Why are you going through so much difficulty that has already been promised Jannah from the time that even though you're not dead yet, you're still living. Allah has already promised you Jannah. Allah has forgiven your past sins and your future sins. So why are you still going through this too much trouble? And what did the Prophet reply that? He said, okay, fine, I accept. He has forgiven my past sins, my future sins. But would I then not thank him for the favors he has done for me? How many of us think in that manner? All we do is we complain about what we don't have, but we forget what we have. The Prophet as well said in another hadith that, spending increases our wealth. Don't think that I have £1,000 in my hand, I cannot put that £1 because the more I put down, the more I will lose. No, the Prophet made us understand that the more we spend out of our wealth, the more we're gonna be increased. The more it will, the more our wealth will increase. And he said that Allah says as well in the Quran, I think in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 245, that Allah is asking the believers that who is it that would loan Allah, that will loan him a goodly loan so that he may multiply it. And then at the end of that, it said that is the one that withholds and grants abundance. That statement alone tells us that if he wills, no matter your prayer, no matter if you're fasting day by day, no matter if you're doing, if he wills, that money you're seeking, you will never find it. You will never see it. And at the same time, if he wills, even if you don't ask for it, there are people that anything they touch, it becomes wealth. Anything they touch, it becomes like anything they want to do, they find it easy. But obviously, the Prophet wonders that for whoever's life is going smooth, then be careful. Wait for a day that calamity will come, because no Muslim's life goes smoothly. Look at the lives of the prophets. Look at the lives of the Sahabas. Look at the lives of our scholars. Look at any scholar today that is on the right path. Look at their life. They will have gone through some calamity or problems in one way or the other in their past life, or they're probably still going through it. So Allah says there that who is it that will loan him a good loan so that it can multiply it? However, is the one that withholds and grants abundance. Abundance meaning you may have money today, not tomorrow, but abundance meaning that you have something is so much that you don't even know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with it. Allah blesses you so much, you don't even know you don't know where to start. And it's with him. There are people that are working like full-time 9 to 5, yet they are only managing. And there are people that are working less hours and they're making it. It is the same Allah that, is behind both situations. So why are we then want to kill ourselves, running after money? Or why is it that we are so stingy that we believe by spending money, we're going to lose our wealth? But it doesn't work that way, So spend your money. Okay, I will give an example again. Us youths, again, I'm saying you because today's talk is mainly because our us youths fall into these too many categories that it is the way we think, our mentality. Many of our youths, again, myself included, that we have money, we're saving up. I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Hajj is there, that is an obligation on you once you have the money and the physical fitness. But yeah, we're postponing. Don't worry, once I settle down, once I'm okay, I will go to Hajj. But how do you know you will live till that time? Ustadh gave us an example of somebody that was diagnosed and died within a week of diagnosis. I'm not saying this to instill fear in us. Neither am I saying this to laugh at the person. May Allah forgive him and all our dead Muslim brothers and sisters. But it is necessary for us to say, for us to reflect that time is of the essence, and time, nobody can hold down time. Time will come and go. We will continue to chase after time, and we'll never ever see time. Time comes in different forms. We don't know what time looks like. And that's why when we have the wealth, spend it towards Islam. Do the thing that you're required to do. You know, if it is Umrah that that you have the capacity for at the moment, go. Yes, Umrah is not compulsory, but at least going there, having the sincerity of going there will change you. I'm telling you, for someone that has been to Hajj, going to that city, Mecca and Medina, you will see some changes in your life. If you go with sincerity, and if you go seeking the pleasure of Allah and seeking the mercy of Allah. For many of us, we have this belief that, well, I'm not praying, I'm not fasting, I'm not doing anything, don't let me do it. No. Even if you're committing sin, that because Shaitan will tell you, it's the same way with this wealth we are talking about. Shaitan will tell you, don't spend that money, don't do that charity because your intention is wrong. And it may be well be true. You want to donate to show off. You want to donate and you want them to announce your name. But still do that charity and you still get your reward, because at that time you break Shaitan. He wants to take two things from you. He wants your intention to be corrupt. At the same time, he wants to stop you from doing that charity. But don't listen to Shaitan. Do it. Listen to your mind and do it. Even though if your intention, do it and leave Allah to do his wonders upon you. But having the mindset that if because I'm not on this level, I've not reached this, that my iman is weak, you never know what Allah will do. If you go to Hajj or Umrah with sincerity, see the wonders of Allah in that city. Look at others around you. You don't know if they are rich, if they are suffering in their family. They are your brothers and sisters walking around you. That alone will be enough to change your mindset. So let's spend while we can before poverty comes, because by the time poverty comes or your family comes to you for support and you're saying, you know what, I don't have it now, come back. And you have that money. But when poverty comes, you're not, if only I could have done that charity then. You're not regretting because it's too late. So let's spend our wealth wisely and let's spend it in the halal means. Be careful of the investments you're doing. Not every investment is halal. Islam has already categorized the kind of companies or industry we can invest in. Not all these financial assets that we can invest in, because sometimes we don't know. And this is the thing with human beings, that which is the essence of this hadith, that we focus too much on the little things and forget the major aspects of our deen. We forget that sometimes we invest in money or we're trying to make more wealth, but you're investing in a haram investment and you're expecting your wealth to multiply. It will not, because you're investing in money or you're investing in something that some people are being deprived of their right from, and you expect your money, your wealth to double. It's not going to double, because in that process it is haram. You're displeasing Allah. Then at the same time, some people are being deprived of common basic rights that they have as a human being. The fourth category is to take care of our free time before preoccupation. And wallahi, either adult, children, male, every single person falls into this category, because we are all running after what it is not lost. We are all running after that which we may not attain before we die. We are all running after that which, even though it may be halal, but it's gonna push us draw us away from Allah. Okay, let's give an example. Some of us here, we work. Tell me, you're working 9 to 5. Some of us are work. I know if I work beyond my contracted hours, Monday to Friday, I will do that. Then I have family time. So tell me, out of that 24, then we're gonna sleep for 7 hours, 8 hours. Some of us sleep more than that. Now tell me, out of that time, how much are you dedicated to Allah? Even when we want to pray Salah, Allah, we do we pray quickly. Imam Ferrari, quickly, we pray, no conscience, no khushu, no concentration on that. We just pray quickly, let me go back to this. Quickly, oh, that cinema, my friends are going. Oh, that, we're thinking of different things, even when we're praying. So tell me, how much time are you even dedicated to Allah? How much time are you dedicated to your family, who have more right to you than any other people, than your friends, than your workplace? You know? So again, you know, as I said at the beginning, that we live in a time where we are distracted, we are disconnected, and we are disoriented. Mobile phone, for many, there are people you will see, for those that drive, and you would have seen this many occasions, you see people holding on their phone, crossing the road. They're not even looking if a car is coming. They are literally on their phone. And somebody once made a joke when I was discussing with that. It will come to a point where they will make there will be a part of the traffic signs that, oh, wait, people on their phone are crossing. You know, and it sounds so funny, but it is quite sad how we've immersed. Some of us are also on all social networks that we can name. Do not get me wrong, social media can be quite useful and halal in a different. I mean, many of our scholars do use social media, and that's how they connect to some people that are disconnected. And you know, alhamdulillah, some of them have come back to Islam by social network through this social media. But some of us are using it wrongly. Some of us are abusing it. Some of us are not even. We are wasting too much of our time on that. Our time is very important. During this free time that we have of this bank holiday, why don't you make an intention that, yeah, Allah, I want to pick up a course and spend my time on it and be consistent with it. I want to pick up this book, the Seerah of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I want to read it from beginning to end within this holiday. Yeah, Allah, make it easy for me. This holiday, I want to memorize few chapters of the Quran. This holiday, I want to learn the tajweed of the Quran, and so many. Because you see, the thing is, Allah loves consistency. Allah does not want us to be donating 10,000 pounds there, and then you don't donate ever for the next 5 years. No. Allah wants consistency. Even if it's £1 you're donating, even if it's 1 minute you're spending for Allah, that consistency matters. 5 minutes after Salah, some of us will pray, quickly we get up. We don't even ask anything from Allah. We don't even do any azikar. Some of us don't even know azikar. What azikar do we do in the morning? What do we do? And what we don't realize, some of this azikar, we may not know the meaning, or we may know the meaning, but it may not make sense to, but they are a form of protection for us and our family. But we don't know that because we've not dedicated our time to research. This is not a day and age where we're going to be going to our fast. Afar, please make this dua for me. Oh, Ustadh, no. They dedicated their own time. Dedicate yours as well. As I said, you know, Allah has given us resources and capabilities that you can become anything you want, except a prophet. You can become a scholar if Allah wills it for you, if you put your mind to it and your dedication to it. You can become a learned person. See, you have scholars because they have an authority to give faqih, usuli, muftis, and so on. Being a learned person, you don't necessarily need to become a scholar. As I said, to reach a mu'min level, you need to have a basic understanding. You know, there's a level of understanding of Islam you need to have, not just about praying, not just about fasting. You need to know certain aspects that if your child comes to ask you, many of us as youths now, we are married, we are giving birth to children. How are we going to raise these children to become the leaders of tomorrow in our Muslim community? But what we prioritize is how we're trying to balance the secular world and the Muslim one. Some of us, we dress our kids up in Christmas clothing. We buy the Christmas tree in our house. We buy them gifts because we don't want them to feel alone, or we don't want them to feel different to their classmates. And you don't know that surely, little by little, gradually but surely, you're taking them out of the fold of Islam. Many of us, all we do is, take our, go to madrasa, go to our salatu. But we don't even know what they're doing there. You don't even know what the akidah of the teachers teaching them are. They may be teaching them the wrong akidah, you don't even know. That's how some of these youth get radicalized, because they were being taught what was not part of Islam. But you didn't know, because all you say, but your responsibility is much more than that. You need to find out what they are learning. You need to be, you need to be knowledgeable enough to be able to answer their questions, not for them to go outside and be told the wrong thing. But there are so many scholars out there that are misleading our youths. But if you as a parent, you're lazy, you're relaxed, you're standing on what your parents taught from you. And some families, their parents didn't know much, so that that generation is lost. Then they gave birth to a child, again, not much. That child picks up what the parents little they know, and then but if you as an individual, you don't make effort to learn so that you can benefit your family, that generation will continue to go until that generation either become an atheist or become a non-follower of any religion, or they just they become a philosopher, like they say, oh, I'm a philosopher, or I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like, what does that mean? Islam is a religion, is a way of life. You cannot separate spirituality from religion. They are part of the same mother. They came from the same. You can't be say, oh, I believe in God, yes, but I don't believe in religion. There's no such thing as that. You cannot, because religion is what has taught us on how to worship Allah, on how to do certain tasks, on how to do this and that. Spirituality is in your heart, is your iman, is your faith. It is not about you pray. There are many people that pray, but their heart is darkened. Their heart their soul is somewhere else. Yes, they say that praying, you will be the first person in the masjid, you'll be the first person doing Ramadan, clearing up and that, but your heart is not with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's what is different between following a religion does not make you a saint, neither does it make you a Muslim. Your heart, that one, which is the reason why it's the first pillar of Islam, the shahada, the belief. We can't just say we believe in Allah alone and stop there. We have to go beyond that, So spending our free and procrastination, not to procrastinate, which many of us do. Oh, I'll go to Hajj in year 2025. Oh, I will learn this course in this area. Oh, I'll pray. Okay, I will just pray later. Procrastination. That, you see, there are so many examples today. Death does not come to you when you are asleep, not alone. There are people, they were walking on the street. They maybe something, they basically missed their step. They died that way. That's it. Some people, they were just sitting down on a chair. Suddenly, they were gone. Some people, they woke up for Fajr. And they stood up. After Fajr, they waited, watched the TV, and that's it. They were gone where they were sitting. Some people, they woke up for Fajr, went back to bed, and that. So it is not necessary. So the death that will come to you is not because we have the mentality, though I will do this, I will be careful. No. So which is the reason why, we've seen a squad. I was watching a YouTube. This was I think earlier this year or last year, of a sheikh that was reciting the Quran. Actually, there were two, live videos that I watched. That both of them were, I think one of them was reciting the Quran in a public event, and he lost his life right then and then. And he fell as it was where people quickly rushed to grab it. As another sheikh was sitting down in a garden of people giving a lecture, and he died that way. So our time is not ours; it is Allah, and it is only a soul will be fulfilled if he or she has done what it needs to be done. There are people that only live 20 years, and I can tell you that 20 years is much more fulfilled than somebody that lived 100 years, because of what they are free time they dedicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just to going out with their friends, not just to engaging in haram stuff. This holiday, instead of us to sit and engage, some of us will be going to clubs and doing all kind of things. So to seek knowledge in our free time, to spend in charity in our free time, to dedicate anything we can, no matter how small, in our free time, because by the time we are preoccupied, and I made the example earlier of a man or a woman, once you get married, your time is halved, without a doubt. Once you start having children, that time is further halved. And as you go on and you grow older, that time, because your children are going to need your attention, your wife, your husband will need your attention, and there will almost be no time. But for people that are, their heart continually yearns for Allah, they will always find time to dedicate it to Allah, no matter how little. Then lastly, the Prophet said that to take care of our life before death. And again, this, you could say that the first four categories mentioned, this basically is an umbrella upon all of them. Because when we look at our life, we're in this life to worship him, as he says in Surah Al-Zariyat, we're in this life to worship him. And this is the life, it is so feeble. It is so, like, it is nothing in the presence of Allah. If he wishes, he can take it right there. He has blessed a family with a child. Few hours of the birth, he took that child away. He has blessed for family with old age, but families were begging Allah to take this person away because that person was a trouble, or was a color, or was in one form or the other. They basically struggled because of what that person is or was to them. So life is so important. Life itself is our soul. If our soul is not happy or content with what we are doing, then you've lived a meaningless life. You've lived a meaningless life. Some of the scholars, some of the even don't let us go to the Sahabas, or some of the the imams of the four mazhabs, they didn't live that long. Some of them died at the young age, but look at what they achieved for Islam during their lifetime. It wasn't their own decision to establish a school of thought. It was their students. It was people that were listening to them that came to, compile their works, and that's how the Muslim started and became. But look at what they achieved. Look at Imam Bukhari, for example, that was from Russia, and look at what he achieved. His book after the Quran is the most sound book after the Al-Quran. It is the book that it is something that if you read it, you will surely be your life will change for the better. And many other comparators about this that way. And the Imams as well, Imam Maliki, Imam Ashafi, Imam Ambali, Imam Abu Hanifa, look at all that. They didn't live that old. And yet, look at what they achieved today. We're still following their mazhab. We're still following their works because of what they had achieved. They gave their life to Islam. And this is what we need to this day and that our life is the Quran, and the Quran is our life. If we do not follow that, then death will come to us faster than we can imagine. Death will come to us faster than we can even breathe. And this may seem, I'm talking in sort of, in parables here, because yes, some of us are 50 years old, some of us are 60, some of us are 30, 20, yeah. But what we are talking, see, it's the saying of the English saying that they say, when death is at your door, your life flashes in front of you. It will feel as if you've only lived 5 minutes in this world. That's how it feels. That even if you've lived for so long, it will be because another says as well in another Surah to such that Quran 32, I think verse 12 or so, that there are people that have died. They'll be saying to Allah that, oh, Allah, we have understood, we have seen, we have believed, we take us back. Take us back, because indeed we have now seen, they've seen it. We are certain of the truth. Because once you die, you will know the truth. The truth will be revealed to you in the grave. And look at the amount of people that have died centuries upon centuries, that they are going to their own judgment already. And that's why scholars have told us that judgment starts from the graveyard, not on the day of Qiyamah. The day of Qiyamah is a different ball game. But the graveyard, your grave is your first basically like first court, as you can put it. So these are people that will be saying to Allah, asking Allah, oh, give us, just return us back. Because we have seen, indeed, now we have believed. Now we are certain of the truth. But Allah will laugh at them. No. When we sent our messenger to you, what did you do? People like Abu Jahl, people like Abu Lahab, that they were cursing the Prophet ﷺ, and Allah cursed his own family and revealed Surah to Lahab. He cursed him, his wife, and his whole generation for what he said to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but because they disbelieved. Allah has not done that in this day and age. If this generation we were alive then, Allah would have even Astaghfirullah would have erased us way quicker than he did those generations. Look at what we are committing in this life now. But Allah is very patient. Allah is merciful because Allah does not want the death of a sinner. It would preserve some people's life because it can see the good of you. It's the same story of the man that killed 99 people. A very true story that the Prophet has narrated to the Sahaba. This man killed 99 people. Somebody in fact, with the kind of rules and human rights and whatever we have today, you cannot fathom killing one person. You know what will happen to you doing that. This man killed 99, but his heart he was ready to accept salvation. He had accepted the sin he committed, and he felt remorseful, and he was ready to accept, and that's Allah forgave him. But again, unless you make efforts, unless we are people that we are trying our best, Allah knows that we sin every day, but we're doing the best. We're not talking of the sinners that know their sin, and they continue to do the sin. But there are people that they've tried, they're finding it difficult. But Allah has said to that, yes, He understands we are sinning, but He's asking for forgiveness that He wants us to do. Many of us that we have our life today, we don't know how lucky. You don't know the big favor Allah has done to us. There are people that they will ask just to come back for 1 minute, because 1 minute to us in this life is nothing. But 1 minute people that has passed away will feel like a lifetime. In a minute, there are things that they can do because they've seen the truth in the graveyard, because they've been shown this is the message you denied. This is our words that you said it was nothing. So, brothers and sisters, let's take care of our life before death, because death has no age. Death has no respect. Death does not care who you are. Yeah, there are people that Allah loved. Ibrahim alayhi salam, death was afraid to come and take him because he was a friend, or he was someone that Allah bestowed his favor upon him. But before we go to that, before you think, Ibrahim, Allah loved him, look at what he did for Allah before he got to that stage. But in this day and age, we want to take from Allah first before we serve him. Allah has given everything. Look around you. Everything is serving us, but we don't serve Allah. Okay, look at the clothes we are wearing. It's for the mercy of Allah. When Adam and Nanawa, when they committed that sin, Allah could have erased them and ended human generation right then and then. But Allah had mercy of them, and they gave them the wisdom. Okay, this is how you clothe, and that, and generation by generation, we advance to this level in different fashion. That is something that is serving us, but we're not serving Allah. Allah gave us animals around us. We can eat from it. We can use them to hunt. We can keep them as pets. But yet, we're not serving Allah. Allah gave us technology for our use. Technology today, yes, as I said, there is bad and there is good. But the good is done. Is a lot. Our scholars, a lot of scholars, Mufti Meg is quite big on there. Imam Hakim Al-Asim is quite big on there. And so many other notable scholars out there that they are doing question and answers. They do dawah, they do that. Some people have accepted Islam through this dawah form. Some people have renewed their faith through this dawah form. So technology is fine. That's another favor Allah has done to us by the wisdom He bestowed on those people that created it. But yet, we are not serving Allah. Or even look at the breath, the health is given us. The family is given us. Some of us, there are people in Nigeria suffering, in Libya, Syria, Yemen, the Uyghur Muslims in China. They are praying to come to a country like this where they can have freedom to practice their religion. We came here freely. Yes, I'm not saying we didn't struggle. I'm not saying it was a difficult time to get the citizenship. Yes, but people are suffering more than that. That's nothing compared to some suffering people have gone through. And yet, we don't value our life. Yet, we are eating like there's no tomorrow. We dress like there's no tomorrow. We spend money lavishly. We buy, sometimes we will buy something that is not, there's no use. Some of us will buy a watch for 300 pounds, 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds for what? A watch that, if Allah wants, somebody could just steal it off of you. You wouldn't even know. You know, you may just be walking peacefully, and people would, like people would attack you. What are you gonna do? They can even kill you there if you're not, if you don't, maintain yourself. I just add, okay, take it, go away. Yet we're not spending money to educate ourselves. We're not, and see, the thing is, I will try and end it with this one, that our parents, and I'm saying this because it is something that we try to cover. We're not, because we are being hypocrite. We're not being truthful with ourselves. You know the kind of children your children are, yet you package them. My son, mashallah, he knows this and that. My son is good and that. We don't care about the religion. We care about the secular part of their life. We care about the Western education, or sometimes we're even putting them on a pedestal that they are not. My son, my son is going to this madrasa. He just finished this and that. But truly within your mind, he doesn't even pray. She doesn't even know how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. When she or he goes out, you know the kind of dressing they do when they go to their parties with their friends. And yet you package them, particularly when they're looking for spouses. You're trying to package because let me just send him or her off for once they married to that, But you don't know that what you're doing is you're doing them a disservice, or you're being dishonest. And Allah would ask you your responsibility, how you raise them up. We package them, our youth, that you're packaging us. You're giving us, you're giving us how do I put it? You're giving us the qualities that we don't have, or you're making us who we are not. Not yet, anyway. Some of us may attain that level, yes, by the doings of our own intentions, about our own hard work, not because you pushed us. As I said, that we send our kids to you sent us to our salati, but you don't even know. Some of us will go. Some of us will tell you we're going to madrasa, but we know we went away with our friends. But even because you don't even have any communication with the Ustadh, so the Ustadh would be like, oh, maybe the Ustadh is probably no, but they don't know how to communicate with you because you've never bothered to even know who the Ustadh or the Ustadha is. So there are so many examples for us, and these 5 things that the Prophet mentioned, they are very vital to our life. They are very vital that if we don't take care of them, we will lose it all. And there is no youth, there's never too late to do things, to learn. You will see today people that are dedicated, adults that are learning to read the Quran because they know the value. Teach your child to learn Arabic, not French, not Spanish. I'm not saying it is wrong. It is okay to learn any language, but prioritize Arabic so that when they grow up, they can understand the Quran. They can read the Hadith independently themselves. All these translations we are looking at, some of them are not even accurate. When you look at Arabic, it is so rich that when you start to understand it, some of the words in the Quran, there's some hidden pronouns, some hidden adjectives that you will not, when English will translate it, they will translate it wrongly. Some verses, Allah placed emphasis on it, but the English will translate it in a way that is just too basic. But because when we understand the language, then we will appreciate the Quran much more. But when all we're doing is sending our youth to just go and learn French, to just go and learn Spanish, to just travel the world or go and explore the world. Send them to countries, Islamic countries, Arabic-speaking countries to go and learn. Send them to Egypt to go and memorize the Quran. Never ever, and I will give an example. I know we're running out. I will give an example of a teacher, and I watched this video on YouTube not too long ago. This is an Arabic teacher, probably in his 40s. When you look, probably in his 40s or so. Arabic teacher was giving lecture to his students, and he was saying, I can't remember the age he said, but I know he was quite young when he said he went to Egypt to go and memorize the Quran. He went there, going on about his course and doing that. And his father then came, say, come back with us. I don't know, I can't remember the reason why he said it. The father just convinced him to come back. And he listened and he went. Do you know he then said that since then, he's still tried to memorize the Quran for the past 20 years, and every day is regretting that, oh, why did I not stay in Egypt? Why did I listen to my father? Why did I not stay to finish my memorization before I return to UK? So that's how many regrets we will call. I'm not cursing. It is the fact. Let's, as we are now, let's all look back at our lives. Parents, child, male, female, adults, you look back at your life right now and tell you will at least one regret you will find. Because we've not spent our life the way we should have spent it. And once that stage is gone, is done, you can never regain it. Yes, you can still try. As an adult in your 50s and 60s, you can still try to learn the Quran. You can still try to learn Arabic. But it's never going to be the same to somebody that is 20 years old, that has got nothing going for their life. Somebody that is still young, they're probably not thinking about marriage. They're probably not thinking much about job. They're probably just living with their parents. They will have more time. Their brain will still be fresh and being able to retain memory than an adult of 50 or 60 years old. And that's the reason why this hadith, it cannot be much more akin to the world we live in today than any other. And lastly, even though all this we all fall into it, let's not be too judgmental on each and every one of ourselves. By that, I mean that there are people, they know they are sinning. They are drinking alcohol. They are going to club. They are eating haram. They are dining. They are committing in zina and so on. But they are praying their salah. They are observing their Ramadan. And some of us will say, what's the point? What's the point of you praying? What's the point of it? Don't let us say that. Because you don't know how Allah would open their heart up again for them to drop all those bad habits. Yes, they are sinning. And yes, maybe they may not get any reward for the good they are doing, but that's left to Allah to judge. We don't have the knowledge enough to be able to decide who is doing what or who will be going to Jannah or hellfire. Let them be encouraged, admonish them, continue to admonish them. Don't be too judgmental. Yes, correct them. Say, oh, but don't be like, oh, why? What's the point? Don't even do it any, so that we don't even know you're Muslim. Or somebody that is not even doing any at all. They're not saying they're Christian. They're not saying they don't believe in Allah, but they're just not practicing nothing. They're just living their life as a normal human Westerner. But don't judge them. Still try, because you don't know what Allah has in store for them. And remember, it is not how we start the race, but how we end it. So I'll end it here. May Allah continue to make it easy for us. May Allah grant us the opportunity to be able to dedicate more time to Him and to take advantage of these 5 things, which I will repeat. So take care of our youth before old age, take care of our wealth before poverty, take care of our health before sickness, take care of our time before preoccupation, and lastly, take care of our life before death. May Allah make it easy for us to take care of these 5 things before any of those other 5 categories before us. And may He continue to make us youth dedicated to Islam. Because the youth age is the age that you go through so much fitna, so much trial, so much difficulties, so much temptation. Shaitan will tell you, look at that lady, she's fine, she did it, don't worry, you did this. Oh, look at that. There are so many things that we go through, and many people that have gone to university will attest to this. But may Allah make it easy for us youth to be able to follow the path of our Prophet Muhammad and to adhere to the teachings of the Quran. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So if there are any questions